Hey, welcome to Master of None Too Often Dreamers. I got an Oura Ring for Christmas, and I decided I'm going to do my first 30 days of just tracking what it does, how I like it, all that stuff. But of course, I didn't start it on actual day one because I didn't even think about doing this until today. So here we are on day 5, still week 1, so it's not horrible. But I just wanted to go through a little bit of the first impressions that I have of the ring. It's super light, it's really good looking, it's really comfortable, but it also feels fake, which I wasn't expecting that, but I can chalk that up to I don't actually know what titanium feels like or what these coatings, this PVD coating feels like, which leads me right into the next point is when you get your Oura Ring, it will have like a couple little brochures, or not really brochures, but just some manuals. And I read that whole thing. It was just a couple pages, print super tiny though. And it tells you that there are 2 different coatings that they have on rings. On the silver one and this gold one that I have, there's a PVD, which is, one second, I don't remember. Physical vapor deposition. And then there's DLC, which is on the 2 black coatings, which is like the stealth and the shiny black. And that's diamond like carbon coating, or DLC, not to be confused with downloadable content Spider Man. I just wish they had that on the website where they actually explained that there are 2 different coatings because they are slightly different in their outcome. So, with PVD, I found this on the internet, so I'm gonna just read it, put the link in the description, all that stuff. PVD is like a Hartlix crystal, whereas DLC is like a sapphire one. They both do the same job, but DLC offers a greater, more robust, and better level of scratch-proof finish. So they're basically the same process. They technically both are PVD, but DLC uses a different material than the PVD process, and that material is based in carbon, and they just use carbon and plaster it into the titanium or whatever metal that you're plastering it into, and that is just more robust. So kind of wish I knew that. If I had, I probably would have gone with the stealth black and not the gold one, but I do still like it. Like, again, it's really pretty, it's really good looking, but it does also look kind of fake because it's not actually gold. People have asked me about that, but whatever, I don't care about that necessarily. So with that battery life, I got it Monday evening, charged it up, like did the update, all that stuff, and then put it on as soon as it was completely done charging. Went to bed almost immediately after that, and then just went on the rest of the time. Now it is Saturday, so that's been a little over 5 days, I would get. Yeah. So about about 5 nights I've had this so far, and I have not needed to charge it yet. So thankful for that. It's not something that I'm wowed by or anything because it's just doing what it says it's going to do, which is 4 to 7 days. And I have the notification set in the app that lets you know when it needs to be charged. Like, it'll tell you if it's too low and it doesn't think it'll make it through a sleep cycle. So you don't want to lose that data. So it'll have you charge it. Charger, pretty simple. It's just like your standard wireless charger, but small little dongle. This actually feels like metal. It's got a good little weight to it, so and like little rubberized bottom, so it's not sliding on whatever surface you have it on. But it's small enough where you can just put it in your pocket or put it in a purse, do whatever. I don't know. Like, it's portable is what I'm trying to get at. And it comes with a USB Type C to A charger or cable, so that you have another one if you don't already have 1,000 of them like I do. So yeah, I just use my Samsung charger, plug it in. It does say don't go over 15 watts because that could probably damage some of the internal components. So make sure you pay attention. Don't use a charger that's over 15 watts for this, just for safety precautions. I had to go like a little bit smaller because I was one of those people that fit in the in-between, because they also, I gotta move this stuff. They'll send you a sizing kit first, and that comes like free, like it's free shipping with, well, you pay for shipping, but it doesn't seem to be, it's a charge that's included with the purchase of the ring. So there's not two purchases that you have to make. So get your sizing rings, then you can just wear them, see how they feel for a few days. I actually wore it for a couple weeks, which should not have done because this isn't like a good material. It's just plastic. And I started to break out around my finger a little bit, so I just didn't wear it for a while, just until the actual ring came. And it finally came, but it was weeks later, so everything seemed to heal and whatever. It's back to normal. With that being said, though, in this first week, I have noticed a slight bit of irritation, and I had to just move it up my finger a little bit just so it would have some air to breathe. But I'm a little concerned about that going forward. Hopefully these next 30 days doesn't prove to be the case with that. But I did start to make more of an effort to make sure that it's completely dry when I wash my hands or take a shower or anything. Like, just make sure that it's completely dry. There's not a lot of moisture, even from lotion that is stuck up under it. So I really think that that could have been a factor. And since I've done that, which was 2 days ago, really yesterday, it hasn't been an issue at all. I haven't had any itchiness or anything like that. A few other first impressions is there is just a ton of data that it gives you in the app, which is both good and overwhelming. So it's just gonna take a learning curve to try to figure out what this does, what this data means, why it looks the way it does, all that stuff. And they give you a ton of resources through their website. They have a couple videos that don't give you much, but just a ton of stuff on their website. They have a lot of blogs, a lot of articles. So there's a lot there. I started diving into some of that stuff, but I'm sure I'll get into more of that as this progresses. I probably should have mentioned this is the 3rd generation Oura Ring, so it has the daytime heart rate monitoring system technology, whatever you want to call it, and it ignited my compulsiveness in a way that I did not expect. So because I can see the green lights, yeah, I mean, you can't see it right now, but with this being clear around the inside of it, those green lights are blinking. You can see it from like the side of your finger. It's not always blinking though. And I'm used to having a wrist-based wearable where that's almost always blinking. It's always seeing that green. Like if you have a Fitbit or something, like you'll just notice it just at any moment, especially in the dark. And it almost bothers me that this isn't tracking constantly. It only tracks, the app says every 5 minutes, but that's every 5 minutes when you're relatively still. So it might try to track at other moments when you're up moving or at work. If you have a physical job, it might miss 2-3 hours, if not more, of tracking, but then it'll pick back up whenever you're still again, or just chilling, relaxing, maxing out, cool, shooting some b-ball, but not the b-ball part because you gotta wait till you're sitting down again. And that's just something for me to get used to. I don't want to knock it for that necessarily, but it's something very different, and it's something that you should not expect out of this. that you would expect out of a wrist-based wearable. Now, there is supposed to be an update where you can have activity tracking, so for like workouts, but that's more for running, cycling, I think something else, but it's not all inclusive. So just don't expect that. And that honestly is something that I'm struggling a lot with, because I just want to see all my charts with no gaps, because again, I'm previously an engineer. I like data and I like seeing data and I like analyzing it because that's kind of fun to me. So that's just something I got to get used to, or figure out a way that I can potentially move and it still tracks everything. I don't know. Maybe that gets better. Maybe when the activity tracking or the workout tracking comes, it might register something as a workout and then give me a consistent heart rate. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when it comes, hopefully soon, which is another flaw to things so far. But I'm like kind of okay with that. Like, I know it's coming, so it doesn't bother me as much. Especially right now, I have the free 6 months of the membership, but that does bother me because I usually like paying for things once and being done with it. I don't like memberships and subscriptions. Like, this stuff's trash to me, but I just want to give it a chance. And if it makes my life if it makes my life exponentially better, then I think it would be worth it. So we'll see what happens in these next 25 days, because that's when the return policy ends.